Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's 30-minute growth session. I'm not going to be long tonight. I know that it is Thanksgiving evening, and so, like many of you, I am at home preparing for some time with my family. Tonight's topic is mindfulness for stress reduction and increased focus. When I came up with these topics earlier this year, I did not know that not only was I going to be able to help others, but that I was helping myself at the same time. Earlier today, there was a SWAT situation in Midlothian, Illinois, where some individuals were attempting to rob a store and then had a hostage. Now, this store is not too far from my office. It seems like every single day there is something that happens, whether we see it on the news, whether we experience it personally, that causes us to have a decrease in our focus and an increase in our stress. So now more than ever, it is critical that we understand the concept of mindfulness, how we use it, so that we can reduce our stress and increase our ability to focus. Now, this time of year, holidays, many people, I think, kind of go into a hibernation stage. I will tell you, me personally, this is the time of the year where I just kind of relax. I really just like to take a pause from my busy life, be thankful for the things that I have been able to do, be thankful for the things that I wanted to do but couldn't do because there was a reason for that. So, let me just start off by telling you a personal story. A few years ago, I found myself in a very, very stressful and overwhelming phase in my life. It was mindfulness that really helped me deal with that season. Mindfulness helped me regain my focus, and if I could be honest, my peace of mind. That particular situation and just my journey in general into mindfulness has transformed my life. I was having a conversation with my husband earlier today, and I said, people that interact with me oftentimes say, "Oh, she's different. Like she's very different." And so I like the fact that I'm different because I try to be my authentic self. How many of you have had anyone else tell you that you were different? I can be in a group of individuals that I know and love and can be perfectly content with just being quiet. You can learn a lot by listening and looking. Mindfulness is more than a practice, it's a way of life. It's about being present in the moment, aware of where you are and what you're doing without being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. I know me personally, I watch the news, and I don't know that's a good thing or a bad thing. And just so you guys know, I am not on camera today because once I had got word of the SWAT situation close to my office, I was like, "Oh, you're not going anywhere today." I didn't allow myself to become overwhelmed or anxious about what was happening near my office. I just decided that today I would just sit by the fireplace and watch holiday movies. So, mindfulness, more than just a practice, it's a way of life, it's a way of being fully present in the moment, aware of where we are, what we're doing without reacting. If you heard me talk about emotional intelligence, it's about being in tune with your emotions, being your own emotional boss. When I did some research on mindfulness, I found that it's not a new concept. In fact, we can trace the concept of mindfulness back to ancient Eastern philosophies and meditation practices. Mindfulness has been this path that allows us to enlighten and awaken inner peace. And it's interesting how these philosophies and practices from so long ago are still applicable today and beneficial in the life that we're experiencing in 2023. So, what about the relevance to today? Well, let me just tell you, mindfulness has really transcended over many cultural boundaries. It's a vital part of psychological practices in the West. Its popularity has soared not only like from a spiritual perspective, but as a day-to-day tool to manage your stress. I don't know about you, but every week there is something in my life that tries to get me to react some way, and I really focus on staying in that peaceful stage. Even this year, I've had to remove myself from some toxic situations that were holding me hostage. And I am here to tell you, when you get comfortable being uncomfortable and you release the things that don't serve you any good, you will feel so much better. Tomorrow, I am going to drop an article on Thanksgiving Day titled The Thing. Make sure you check it out. Number one, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the thing, but I'm also going to share with you a link to a growth, register for, I should say, a growth plan party that I am hosting in December. It's a free event, it is a party. You are going to walk away with a plan for success. Exactly 1 year ago, I established three goals for myself. One was to publish my book, Grow With Me. Two was to remove myself from that toxic situation. And then three was to shed any weight that was holding me hostage. And one of those areas, honestly, was one of the businesses that I had owned that no longer served me. It honestly, financially, was draining me. And once I made the decision that it was time to close the doors, I felt so much better. So, my three goals, I set them 12 months ago. So, when I have this growth plan party that I am inviting all of you to attend, I only can have 100 participants. We're going to sketch out together our plan for growth for the next year. And we are going to have the mindset that no matter what happens, we are going to achieve those goals. So, mindfulness helps us manage stress, but it also enhances your emotional intelligence, which ultimately improves the quality of your life. Why? If you're always explosive and always stressed out, that can lead to a debilitating status. Why? Stress is common in our everyday life, right? It impacts our mental clarity, our emotional stability, our physical health, which leads to what? anxiety, depression, and other health complications. I don't know about you, but for me, I want to live the next 50 years of my life in a healthy state, mentally and physically. There are some mindfulness techniques that you can use. And so let's take a look at a couple of them. Number one, deep breathing. It's a simple yet powerful tool. And I actually use it, honestly, when I'm having a conversation with my husband. Sometimes he'll say something that I'll be like, did he just say that? So instead of me having a response back to him, because everything that someone else says doesn't require a response. If you know that to be true, say true in the chat. Every comment does not require you to respond. Sometimes you need to just be silent. And so, deep breathing is such a powerful tool because it allows you to just stay in your peaceful state and not be bothered or not always reacting to the things that people say or do to you. Also, another technique is mindful observation. This is where you just observe your surroundings. You're curious, right? But you are non judgmental. So important. For those scholars out there, you are probably wondering, is there scientific evidence? I see Dr. Agnew is here tonight. Is there scientific evidence about mindfulness? Absolutely. Numerous studies validate how effective mindfulness is in reducing your stress. It has shown that it can decrease your cortisol levels, the stress hormone, in those of us that practice mindfulness on a regular basis. We live in an age where we are constantly being distracted by something or somebody, primarily those digital notifications. I too, I too have succumbed to holding that cell phone in my hand too much that I have made it a point to put that phone in the other room to allow myself to kind of focus on one thing. I must admit, I'm a multitasker. And so I like to try to meet all of these demands. But when I am allowing myself to be held hostage by my phone, my cell phone, and the emails, it's not going to hurt if I take 30 minutes to respond or 4 hours to respond, as opposed to, immediately. I am a human. I am not a microwave. I am not a robot. I do not have to respond immediately to any and all demands, unless, of course, if it's an emergency. So, this constant state of distraction really hurts us. Why? It limits our ability to concentrate. And then what happens is, and I'll tell you about me, when I get out of my mindfulness state and I'm trying to get things done, sometimes I get into a state of decision fatigue where I can't do anything. I feel crippled. When we take the time to be mindful of where we are, what we're doing, taking those deep breaths. There are lots of apps out there on YouTube and such where you can find mindfulness music moments during the day. If you ever work with me, I always have some music playing in the background. And why? Mindfulness is not just about your mental health. It's also about enhancing your efficiency, your productivity. When I put that phone in the other room and I play the music, the mindfulness music, my meditative music, I'm focused and I am executing flawlessly. But when I'm pausing every few minutes to look at my phone, look at the text message, look on social media, I am distracted. There are studies that have shown that regular mindfulness leads to better concentration, decision making, and helps you be creative. I'll tell you about me. I have so much creativity that when I allow myself to operate in my zone of genius, I can produce some things that have a huge impact on those that I serve. So, let's talk about some practical tips that you can take with you tonight. Incorporating mindfulness into your daily routine can be simple, and with practice, it's something that you just do without even thinking about it. Whether it's being fully present while you're eating or engaging in mindful walking, mindful listening. Ooh, mindful listening. That mindful listening is very hard for a lot of us, including me. But when you practice it, practice makes progress. When you practice it, it will have a huge impact on your daily experience. The key: consistency and practice. It's about integrating these steps into your daily life. They're small, manageable ways that you can allow yourself to experience a process of growth and change. I don't know about you. Not only is the world changing, I am growing on a daily basis. Normally, we're here for 30 minutes, but I got a pound cake to put in the oven. So let me just wrap up by saying today we talked about mindfulness, how powerful it is in terms of reducing our stress, enhancing our ability to focus. We talked about how it dates back to the ancient times, right? And how today it can be used to allow us to have a huge impact. Sharon Salzberg said, mindfulness isn't difficult. We just have to remember to do it. It's about making a conscious effort to be present in every moment of our lives. As we celebrate Thanksgiving, for those that are celebrating Thanksgiving, let's practice mindfulness by being truly present with our loved ones. You never know when someone sitting across the table from you won't be there the next day or the next year. Be thankful for the food that you are able to consume because not everyone is consuming food that is a delight to their soul. Lastly, express gratitude for what you've been able to do in life and the things that you anticipate doing. This has been Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, the Growth Motivator. I thank you for chiming in tonight. Next week, I'll be back on camera and we are going to wrap up our journey into the 30 minutes of growth each and every Wednesday evening, 6 p.m. Central Time. Be sure to subscribe and like my social media page where you're streaming in from, whether it be Facebook at Dr. Lisa L. Campbell. I'm also on Instagram at Dr. L. Lisa Campbell. I am also on LinkedIn, same name. Thank you so much. And everyone, please be safe.